Welkom terug. Sandile Mkhize is 'n inspirerende Suid-Afrikaanse atleet wie na 'n lewensveranderende ongeluk in 2013 krag gevind het deur sport en deur sy deelname aan die Wings for Life World Run 'n kampvegter vir insluiting geword het. Hy gesels nou met Arnold Geerdts.
Good morning. Goeiemôre. Weer eens good to have you with us. Sandile, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time. I think let's start right at the beginning. Take me back 12 years to your accident, if it's not too painful to talk about what happened.
No, for sure. So I was on a morning bike ride with a couple of friends where we decided just to get some air and sort of to
Motorbike or cycling?
Superbikes.
Okay.
So come from a family of motorbike enthusiasts. But yeah, unfortunately, on our way to Woodbank, I ended up taking a corner where, unfortunately, I lost control. I went off-road. Not really sure what happened in between that, but I ended up waking up on the floor. I realized something was wrong, and I knew that sort of life would be different afterwards. And I've been trying to piece life together ever since.
Take me back to the moment that you realized when you just said life is going to be different. What was your first realization?
I think the first thing I thought about was, goodness, this is really happening. That's number one.
See for serious.
But also, I think part of my personality, and I didn't really understand sort of the gravity of the situation because I've always been able to navigate my way through challenges or situations. So I figured, you know, I'll knock this out of the park. Once that's done, I'll get back to life. But unfortunately, it wasn't that easy. But for better or for worse, it's shaped me to be a better person and a better human. So kind of grateful for the trauma, but I wish the lessons were learned differently.
When something like this happens, obviously there's the psychological battle that happens.
Yep.
Take me through those stages before we start talking about what you do these days and how amazing you were during the Wings for Life run. How did you get through that initial stage where there must be anger and there must be disappointment and understanding that it's never going to be the same again?
Oh, 100%. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not a product of my own doing. I'm very fortunate to have a very supportive community in terms of my friends and my family that never really allowed me to dip into any dark spaces. But also, I think there's a bit of, I'm a bit of a rebel and a troublemaker. So I won't necessarily allow anything to sort of like stop me from certain things that I would like to do. And I think that has helped me sort of laugh through my nightmare rather than be consumed by it or overwhelmed by it.
So were you always this positive and this bubbly and this up?
It depends on the tax season. But no, I've tried to never look at life too seriously. I think one of the sobering reminders, unfortunately, that comes with tragedy is that, people, we forget, we live once. And we really only have one shot at this life. Whether you believe in an afterlife or reincarnation, who you are right now, it'll never happen again. So I try to make the most out of that and count as many blessings as I can throughout the process.
Nou, daar is 'n stukkie filosofie wat mense baie lang pad kan vat, ek is seker. Let's talk about when you discovered that you could move in a way that made you an athlete again.
It was incredible. So I grew up playing all sports, right? Cricket, rugby, even made Craven Week. I don't know how I did that, but yeah, I was very lucky.
You played Craven Week rugby?
Played Craven Week rugby.
What position?
Outside center.
Okay.
Outside center and fullback.
Brilliant.
So I've always enjoyed sort of team sports. So I'm a T5 complete paraplegic. And what that means is that I'm paralyzed from the nipple line all the way down. So I have no feel or function. So people forget, like with a spinal cord injury, it's not really the injury by itself. You have to relearn a lot of things again, getting dressed, washing yourself. And, once I started participating in sport, I kind of sort of framed it mentally as a mental playground in a sense of like, trying to figure out what can my body do, what can't it do? And whatever I determine what I can't do, I just realize I need to be more creative and then just try again and keep the process going.
I have a dear friend, Andy Scott, who's in the same scenario as you. And Andy always said, guys in wheelchairs who've lost their legs really don't care much because what's the worst thing that can happen?
Oh, yeah. Well, the worst is behind us, but also we get really good parking at malls. So
and you've always got a seat.
Exactly. It's not that bad.
Talk to me about the run, the Wings for Life, because it is a massive movement. It happens on the same day right around the whole world. And we've had one or two South African winners who've done the world win. Talk to me about your experience of
it completely changed my life. And I know sometimes it may sound hyperbolic to say so, but I do think mentally I was in maybe not the best of spaces in 2016 when my therapist at the time told me about the race. you become isolated, especially once you have a particular version of yourself mentally, right? And you don't want to be in public because, my six-pack days are gone, so to speak. But being surrounded by people that not only look like you, but also a community of people that are there to support you. And the whole importance of the race is to raise money for spinal cord research, to find a cure. And for me, that has sort of given me, that extra purpose to sort of keep going and to live well and to try to live by example as well. Whether I benefit from this cure or not, it's immaterial. If just the next kid who happens to have an injury doesn't have to suffer the way that I did, it makes it all worth it for me.
Christopher Reeve went through the same thing, and he was probably one of the people that started that kind of thinking very early on. Where is the research as far as that's concerned, as much as you know?
Oh, yeah, no. We've made some incredible advancements in the last 5 years. For example, there's been a couple of people who have actually had spinal cord injuries and have actually walked the first couple of meters of the Wings for Life World Run in different places of the world.
Awesome.
So being able to fund these things is extremely important, and finding different ways. So it's been good.
Sandile, it's such a pleasure, and I've learned a lot from you. I love your positive attitude. Thanks for coming in. We really appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Elsa.
Baie dankie Arnold. Wat 'n inspirerende jong man. Nou ons kuier net hierna verder, so maak seker jy bly ingeskakel. Ag en ek hoop jy het al 'n volgende koppie koffie gereed, want is nog nie die einde van die program nie. Net hierna 'n baie interessante onderhoud wat gaan volg. Jy is by Goeiemôre, good morning.